Hello. So thought I'd try making a match day 2 video. Um, I'm slightly sleep deprived, partly because I woke up for the first time this tournament to try and to change my captain just to check that Haaland did alright, because I was going to switch it to Sabitzer, and he fortunately did. And I woke up early as well, so I'm slightly sleep deprived, but we'll see how we get on. So I'm going to talk about how I'm getting on so far, match day 1, plans for match day 2, players to target, whether it's worth taking hits, 12th man, probably going to use it. Then maybe talk about some things we've learnt in the game, just the way the game works, rule updates, a couple of little buggy things talk about. And then I might talk about, what was this? Yeah, maybe I was looking into other things like brackets and motivations and stuff, so let's just waffle. So match day 1, doing alright. Apparently there's 2 million people playing the game. Well, this is what I worked out. I just looked at the lowest ranked player I could find, and he was ranked just over 2 million. I think some people might have even got -1, so it could be more than that, 2 million, 2.1 million. But that's as far as I can tell, about 2 million people playing. So I don't know, I'm in the top 8th. 79 points so far. Yeah, going well. Montez red card on the opening day was fun, but I don't really mind it. He got me 7 points. Gives me an excuse to hit him out as well next game week. What else happened on the first day? Oh yeah, so the punts didn't work because I did Rafinha to Sabitzer. I brought Sabitzer in for match day 1 to try and punt, and then I would take a hit for Rafinha, and the same with Mbolo over Mbappe. So they didn't really work. But I did save money by going for Mbolo instead of Mbappe, and that money I probably would have had to downgrade one of these two to a cheap, and I probably would have gone for Defugel Rolls, the Canadian guy. So I might have lost points there as well. Also, if I had Mbappe, I would have stuck with him captaincy, so I would have missed a few points out extra on Haaland as well. So it's maybe even Stevens, but yeah. So those hits weren't great, but that's fine. Planned hits. The Germany game was a bit intense. I couldn't decide who to captain. Last minute switched it to Kimmich. Just trusted the numbers. I was just trying to work out. He just looked like he had more routes to points. And then as soon as the game started, I just instant regret. Why did I captain a defender in that game? But then it turns out maybe I was somewhat right. He did get more points, and it didn't really matter in the end anyway, because everyone moved off captaincy anyway. And then what else happened? And then yesterday, the day of the greats, wasn't it? Haaland, Mbappe, and Messi. So that was fun. Ordonez as well. I skipped captaincy on Ordonez because there was a storm due in Philadelphia on that night, and the rules are, if there's lightning detected within 8 miles of a game, it's a mandatory 30-minute suspension of play. And so they had a storm in Philly, like right due. It's starting to get a bit delayed, so I was thinking it would probably be okay, but originally it was due right at the time. And so you get a 30-minute delay, and then if the game has to be abandoned, it will have to be played the next day, probably, because of the tight schedules. I think I read, actually there's a BBC article here. I might leave the links below. That's not the article. And they said they'll play it the next day. I'll leave the article below. And because it's a late night kickoff, and the storm was due to go throughout the night, one bit of lightning, and I reckon they might have just called the whole thing off, because it was going to be lightning continuously for every half an hour. They wouldn't be able to get the game played again, and so it might have got played the next day, and then they would have been locked. I would have assumed, because they would be mid-game, and you continue the game the next day at whatever minute that you stopped, and it seems a bit like you can't change your captaincy mid-game. That seems unfair, so I'd imagine they'd be locked. Now, I don't know, possibly not. They might just give you the option, and they might unlock it for you. But I didn't want to take the risk. Ordonez was like a player I wasn't expecting much from, so I skipped it. So that's something to think about. But in match day 2, I haven't seen many storms due. But I have heard people talk about the weather in this tournament and saying that it's a matter of when, not if, that a game will be suspended for storms, because it happens so frequently in America. So yeah, keep an eye on that. So that's match day 1 though, doing alright. I've got to bring in these chaps for the last last few. Yep, that's fine. So that's going well. Match day 2 then. Players to target. What we doing? Players to target. So what I'm thinking is I've got Montez suspended and Sabitza's playing at Argentina. So they're the two that stand out. But there's so many players I want to bring in. Like you've got, I mean, it's Valencia against Curacao is the top of my model, but this model's dodgy, so don't trust it too much. Mbappe, I've got to get in, surely. Rafinha. Harry Kane's got Ghana. He's right up there. Dumfries, maybe. Elise, Yamal, Doku, Vinny Jr. And there's others as well. Salah, maybe. Messi might be on people's radars. De Bruyne, there's a lot of players. Balogun. I don't know. A lot of players I'd love to get in. And so the question is it worth taking hits? And at the moment, I think it is. I'm kind of thinking maybe 3 hits. So 2 free transfers, 3 hits. Haaland to Mbappe. Mbolo to Valencia, Sabitzer to Rafinha, probably keep Wirtz and then do Sane to either Yamal or Elise. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Montez to a defender. Not sure yet. I don't think I can get up to Dumfries, but maybe Nico O'Reilly or Reece James, possibly. Might have a go for that. So, and I think the reason why I think hits are worth it is because the reason why hits are worth it. Well, you've obviously got. Hang on, what was I thinking? The question I was really thinking is a hit worth it for a bench player? Because like if you can get 11 out, then do you really need to take a hit for a player who's just going to be on your bench? Because there's this kind of instinct in FPL of like that would be a total waste. It's like it's hardly even worth it to take a hit on a outfield player, let alone your bench player. But one of the big differences I think is that in FPL, the chances that your bench player will actually be needed is very low, like 5-10% probably. You probably won't need them. But in this game, I think it's very high. Like I think it's like 90% plus. And so therefore I kind of feel like it probably, you shouldn't think of them as bench players. You should think of them as like actual players. I went back through Club World Cup. So this is how I did in Club World Cup. And this is the number of blanks. I don't have my match day 1 final for some reason, but I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 blanks in match day 2. Match day 3 I had 1, 2, 3. These guys just didn't even play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. Match day 3. Round of 16, 1, 2, 3 blanks, maybe 4, 5-ish. This is all the way through quarterfinals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish. I'm not including the keepers because they're like a game unto themselves. Semi-final, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Loads of blanks. And then in the final, loads of blanks. I didn't do that great, to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A lot of blanks. And so the odds that you're going to have 3 or more blanks is at least 3 blanks. It seems really likely. And therefore, it seems the question of like whether it's worth taking a hit for a bench player is almost irrelevant. You should probably think of it as just your 15 because you're probably going to need all 15. Is the kind of way I'm thinking about it. So I think the real question is the player you're bringing in predicted to score more than 3 points than the player you're taking out? And that's the one where usually in FPL it wouldn't be the case, but because it's only 3-point hit, and in this World Cup there's the difference between the good teams and the bad teams is bigger, I think it might be. So I'm looking at like Mbappe and Haaland was one of my first ones. Where is Haaland? I thought he had him down here somewhere. There he is there. I've got him as predicted about 6 points and Mbappe about 10.5 points. So that's more than 3 points. Now, again, model's rubbish, but Haaland's playing Senegal. It's apparently not supposed to be quite as hot now. The weather looks like it's cooling down a bit. Last I checked, they might even have rain. Might even have some rain. Where are we? Senegal, Norway. That's not it. I was hoping to do this quickly. I'm not going to be able to get there because I can't even remember where it is. Where are they? MetLife, isn't it? 22 over here. Senegal, Norway. I've got it as 21 and maybe some rain. That's what it's gotten down to. So the weather argument is maybe not as strong as it was, but it's still Senegal. It's still tough. I don't have to get rid of Haaland, but Mbappe versus Iraq seems really good. I don't know. At the moment, I'm just feeling like, sod it, I'm just going to take loads of hits. So I'm probably going to do Haaland to Mbappe. I don't think there'll be rotation for France. I'm thinking France are just going to want to get the 6 points and then they'll rotate in the third game. Because, let's have a look at this. Their schedule is their rest days here. So where's France? So they've got 6 days before match day 2. And then it's going to be a 4 and a 4. It doesn't matter whether they come first, second or third. They haven't got much rest there. And so it feels like it would make more sense to just rotate in match day 3. If they've got a nice big break until match day 2, and then it's just 4 days till match day 3, and then 4 until match day 4. If they can get the job done, then they can just mass rotate in match day 3, fresh for match day 4. That's what I would assume. And they're playing Iraq and then Norway in the final game. Norway might want to do the same thing as well, though they've got to play Senegal. Yeah, that would be my instinct. So, Haaland to Mbappe, probably happening. Sabitzer to Rafinha. I thought I had all these set up. Oh, here's there. Yeah, so Sabitzer's predicted not much at all. 3.67 against Argentina. Very tough game. Yeah, I've got to sell him. He'll be one of my free transfers. He'll be one of my first. And Rafinha's right up the top here. Rafinha over Vinny because he's had more goals and assists in qualifying at a higher rate, and in their domestic leagues he returns at a higher rate as well, 1.05 goals and assists per 90. So he just seems like the one. That's all I'm going with. So yep, I think Rafinha, and he's like the highest midfielder up here. I mean, there is Elise and Yamal. I think I'd sooner go. Well, would I? Or would I sooner go to Elise? I don't know. At the moment, I think I'm going for Rafinha as the first midfielder. And then you got, Mbolo to Valencia. I probably shouldn't trust my model too much, but Curacao predicted 3 goals, Ecuador, and Valencia gets like 46% of their goals and 18% of their assists. He's probably going to get a goal and an assist. 2 returns probably in that game. And he's cheap as well, so he'll enable me to be able to get maybe Elise, Yamal and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. Mbolo against Bosnia isn't the worst, but he is a little bit further down. Again, it's like it's more than 3-point hit, worth it. And Bosnia, Kolasinac was injured, but I think it was just cramp. I can't get much information on it, but it sounds like it was just cramp, so I think he'll be back. So Bosnia might be tough. Switzerland do need a win though. So these are all transfers that I wouldn't normally make in FPL, but I'm just chasing that hat trick. I'm chasing the really big upside. So I think you got. Then Sane to Elise or Yamal. So Sane's only 4.8. I've got to get rid of one of these Germans against Ivory Coast. So I think it'll be Sane. And it's like the next 2 best midfielders is Elise and Yamal. I do like Doku, but they're not as good as Elise or Yamal. So yeah, at the moment I think I'm leaning Elise. I need to know that Yamal's going to start. I don't know if he's definitely fit enough to start yet. And again with Elise is a part of me that wonders whether they could rotate him, but at the moment he's too good, and I think they'll just get the win. I think he'll start again. I don't know that. I'm a bit unsure about that. But the other thing about Elise, there's this, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but there's this kind of vice captain problem, which is I've been thinking about. Maybe I'm playing into it too much, but if I've got Mbappe, I've already got, the thing with Yamal, I've already got 2 Spain, so I can captain one of them and vice cap Cucurella. Whereas I don't have 2 France, so when the France game happens, I don't know whether my logic's right there, but if I've got Elise, I can captain Mbappe and put the vice on Elise. I'll talk about the vice captain problem in a minute, because I thought it was just a weird curiosity, and then I've actually kind of it's a very interesting curiosity, the way it works. So you kind of got to get rid of it, otherwise you'll lose a captain shout. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Elise, so yeah, leaning Elise. It depends on the defender I want as well. I could go down to Doku if I want some budget, and then I can get up to a Dumfries then. but I'm not sure I fancy Dumfries that much against Sweden. They've come in guns blazing. They look quite good. Netherlands don't look as good, so not so sure. I was thinking of Hakimi, maybe, because Morocco look really good. And Scotland have got their win now, so that will probably be a hot-ish game. But I think that one's cool. From what I can tell, the last time I looked at the weather, all the heat waves seem to be dissipating a bit and cooling down. Scotland, Morocco. What are we talking about then? So 22nd, 23rd, Scotland, Morocco. I can't remember where they're playing. Morocco. That's match day 3. It'll be one of the first ones, won't it? I can't see it here. Going blind. Scotland, Morocco. Let me pause it because I'm going to spend ages doing this. Right there. As soon as I paused it, I saw it. Scotland, Morocco. 26 degrees is what I've got it. So it is kind of hot. Not super hot, but kind of hot. So that's going to favour the Moroccans. One thing I've thought about though with Hakimi is that the schedule is, there's only 2.5 hours between these two games. So the Scotland game and then the Brazil game straight after it. That's 2.5 hours. I didn't notice that before. So most games have got 3 hours between. That one's only got 2.5 hours. So it should be fine. That game should be over in 2 hours. I don't think there's any storms due or anything like that. What stadium is that? It is open air. Don't think there's any storms due though. But if the game just doesn't update for some reason, I think I heard there was some crashes and some dodgy stuff going on last night. So if the game doesn't update in time for that one, and you got your captain on Hakimi and you can't move it to Rafinha, it's a very small risk. But if you're 50-50 between a few defenders like I am, maybe it just tips me towards an England defender instead of Hakimi. I'd also have to wake up in the morning to do that as well, which is, you know, a slight reason. So might avoid Hakimi because of that. Yeah, but that's my decision anyway. So I've got to do Sane to Elise or Yamal, and I'm kind of thinking Kane for 12th man because he's expensive. I suppose Yamal, and he's more expensive than Yamal and Elise. He's expensive. Possibly could do Mbappe 12th man, Haaland to Kane, and then bring Elise in, captain him from France. Don't know. There might be ways I can play around with this. At the moment, I'm thinking Kane 12th man, and then defenders. Yeah, I might just go Reece James or Nico O'Reilly there. I'll see how they get on in the first game. See who's starting, who's most nailed. Don't know whether I'll get a choice. They might have some goal threat about them. They've got reasonably good clean sheet chance. If not, if I don't go for them, I could always go for. I could see if like a Kubasi, so somebody from Spain, one of the teams that have high clean sheet chances. So the clean sheet odds from FPL Joe, check him out, fpljoe.com. Clean sheet odds. I've already got an Ecuadorian. I could just get like a low-owned scouting bonus guy from one of these top teams. I mean, if I'm going to do that, I may as well just get another Ecuadorian, because they're like right at the top against Curacao and got a really good defence. I may as well go Hincapi or Pacho, is it, or something like that, and get the scouting bonus, because that feels like a very easy way to justify a hit. Taking Montez, who's got a guaranteed 0 for a 9-pointer. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. So that'll be 3 hits though. So I'll have to think about this tomorrow. Usually after my video, I kind of come to my senses and change my mind and stuff. But that's what I'm thinking at the moment. So that's the plans. 12th man. Yeah, and I think rotation. I don't think. There's a lot of the European teams drew their first game, so they kind of can't afford to rotate in the second. Spain as well. I think Spain will be. So Spain have got. What have we got here? Spain. Spain have got Saudi Arabia and then Uruguay. Their next 2 games. They've drawn the first one, but everybody in their group has drawn their first one. Their rotation, their rest days are actually not that bad, I don't think. So they've got a 6-5. If they top their group, they'll get another 6 before the round of 32. and if they come second, they've got another 7 days before the round of 32. So in terms of rotation, it's fairly generous. I think they're going to need a win, so I think they'll play. I don't know who else could play for like Oyarzabal. This is stuff I need more research on. At the moment, I think they're just going to play. I'm going to stick with Oyarzabal. I'm not going to get rid of him. And Lamal, I will Google and I will search at the last minute, see if I can get any news. Could do with having him confirmed to start, but we'll see. So I'm not expecting that much rotation. A lot of teams didn't do that well in match day 1, so they kind of need a result for match day 2. And I think most of the rotation will still come in match day 3, I think. So that's where I'm thinking at the moment. Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. So let me talk about some of these things about the technicalities about the game that have been happening. So, yes, there's 2 million people playing. That's the Boston weather. Okay, so big chances. It's not all chances, it's big chances. There's a lot of things that we thought were probably going to be the case that have been confirmed now. So Pulisic, he was one of the first. He got 2 chances created, got a point. And, oh, it's gone. Hang on, I'm going to have to pause it. Had it all set up. Sorry, so big chances created. Pulisic got 2 big chances, 2 key passes. Weston McKennie got no big chances, 3 key passes, which is just all chances created. But he didn't get any points. McKennie got no chances created points. But Pulisic did get the points. So it's big chances created, not all chances created. Tackles, it's all tackles, not just tackles won. So, yeah, Tahirovic got 3 tackles, got a plus point. But on FB Ref, it only said 1 tackle won. But on like a FOTMob, it says 3 tackles. So it's all tackles. There is this metric here where they actually have like total tackles 3, total attempted tackles 4. But that includes dribbled past. So that total tackles means tackles won and tackles lost. Total attempted tackles includes dribbled past when you attempt to tackle but you don't even touch the ball and the guy just dribbles past you. A tackle lost is when you actually tackle but then the ball rebounds to the opponent's team. And a tackle won is when you actually tackle but the ball rebounds to your team. All definitional funny stuff, but basically it's that one. It's all tackles apart from when you get dribbled past, which obviously isn't a tackle. Yeah, all tackles. Then the 5% thing seems to be the case. Robertson 5% scouting bonus, 5% owned at deadline, got the scouting bonus, and Pulisic 5% at the deadline didn't get it. This is Rob T's data, which is handy. He's got this. This is what I need, don't I? Like proper data like this. But 5%. So the theory is, well, I presume, is that sometimes there are some players who are 4.95 to 4.99. It gets rounded up to 5. And others are like 5 to 5.04 and it gets rounded down to 5. And you're just going to have to trust the game on that one. But it is a peculiarity that you've got 2 players both on 5%, and one gets the scouting bonus and the other doesn't. And from our point of view, it's just, if you're going to go for a player who's 5%, it's 50-50. You're not going to know whether they're over or under the threshold. So kind of you have to do it at your own risk. I would probably just avoid players, or unless you're happy to get them if they go over anyway. But that's something interesting. The 3rd place playoff is definitely confirmed. Somebody pointed out in my comments that this final round here, it says it's opening on the 18th of July, and the 18th is the 3rd round playoff. The final's on the 19th. So all the others are on the kind of first day of each round. So yeah, third place playoff is almost certainly going to be part of the game. Tom Hadley noticed that the OPTA updates don't seem to affect the points. Bruno Guimaraes was originally given 3 tackles, got the point, and then the update came along and he went back down to 2 tackles, but they didn't take his points away from him. He still got 3 points, a point for the 3 tackles. So the OPTA updates don't seem to affect it. So if you're, that worry I had that, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and kind of have to, if somebody's got a dubious assist or goal that might get added the next day, and you kind of, you don't want to make up your mind because you might get added the next day. It looks like it's probably not. It looks like you'll probably get at least an hour after the game's finished. Whatever points are settled, looks like they might just leave it at that. Now we don't know yet because the match day hasn't finished yet. They might kind of update it at the end of the match day, so we'll have to wait and see there. But at the moment, it looks like that's gonna stay. Fantasy assists are a thing. What was it? I can't remember what it was last season. What's this one? I don't know what I've got going on here. What's this? America. What's interesting about America? I can't remember why I've got that there. But fantasy assists are a thing. Haaland, his last assist was a fantasy assist, not a real assist. So I don't think it will get given in FB Ref. I haven't checked it, but I don't think it will. But it's given there. It was the same in Club World Cup as well. Yildiz got one. I thought we had a... Oh yeah, here it is. Yildiz, he got scored 2. His third was an own goal. Shot off target, hit the defender, own goal. But he got the assist for it. Because he got 18 points and it all adds up to like that. So fantasy assists are a thing in this game. So this is a weird one. Match day 1 deadline, it didn't actually close. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but you could still make transfers after the deadline. It didn't like fully close. I don't know whether it was because the game actually kicked off. Go away. Oh, well, get rid of that. I don't know whether it's because the game kicked off about 6 minutes late. I think some people said it was the deadline was still open for about 10 minutes, but you could still make transfers. And basically, some people made some transfers in that window. And what happened was that the transfers they made in that little 10-minute window, the player they sold stayed in their matchday 1 team. They didn't actually sell them. And the player they bought ended up in their matchday 2 team. So it acted like a normal transfer that you would make for matchday 2. After the 8 o'clock deadline, you make it for matchday 2. But they didn't lose their transfers. They still got their 2 free transfers for matchday 2. Which, in a sense, I feel like is fair, because it was like kind of the game's cock up. They shouldn't have done that, and so people might not have realised that it was locked, and so they're still making transfers. It would have been a bit harsh if they're making transfers for match day 1 and then all of a sudden the player they wanted to bring in for match day 1 is in their match day 2 team and they've lost a transfer as well. I think that would have been a bit harsh. So it kind of feels fair the way they've done it. Just let them keep their transfers for now. I haven't heard of anybody who's lost them, but you know, again, the match day hasn't finished yet. They could still take them, but I don't think they will. So that seems fair. The funniest situation as well, though, is this chap here, or lady, posted this, and they put a 12th man. So they played the 12th man after the deadline and transferred Haaland for Mbappe, and brought Haaland in as the 12th man. So that's match day 1. So they did Haaland for Mbappe. This is where my sleep deprivation's coming in. They did Haaland for Mbappe. So Haaland, I presume this person means they bought Mbappe in for Haaland, but Haaland stayed in match day 1. Mbappe came in match day 2. And then they did Haaland 12 man because they brought Mbappe in. So that's a weird one how they allowed that, because you can't usually 12 man somebody who's in your team. So it must have allowed at that moment. They did Haaland to Mbappe, had Mbappe in his team at that moment between 8 and 10 past 8, 12 man Haaland, and it allows it. And then the result of that, once the game updated, was that he reverted back to having Haaland in his team and not Mbappe. Mbappe's in the matchday 2 team, kept the free transfers, and then Haaland, so he's got 2 Haalands basically, and he's had Haaland captain here. And funnily enough, it looks here like Haaland's doubled his score. Now he actually hasn't. 99 points, that all adds up. If that's 17 rather than 34, it adds up to 99. So that actually hasn't doubled, but it looks like this is FPL Joe spotted this. If that's just a user interface thing. So that's not actually affected his points. It's all a bit, you get this with FIFA. This is what you get. The game's been all right so far, but there's a few little bit rough around the edges. But that's like the most extreme example. So that happened. So he managed to get. I mean, again, it's not this person's fault. They did Haaland to Mbappe, Haaland 12th man, and then it's ended up like that. It's like, okay. But the interesting question is, what if it happens again next game week? Now, for me, I'm going to be wildcarding match day 3, so it doesn't matter. It's not going to make any difference. And then I'm going to be unlimited in round of 32, so I'm not going to really have this question until quarterfinals. But for anybody that's wildcarding match day 2 or saving their wildcard for the knockouts, you might be in a situation where you could exploit this. I don't feel like it's, the budget hack from World Cup 2022 I didn't feel too bad about that, because that was technically in the rules. It was maybe a badly designed game, but it was technically within the rules. This one feels a bit like the rules are you're supposed to wait till the deadline. I don't know. I'm not going to comment, but if people want to exploit it, they possibly could. The problem is you don't know what's going to happen. So they might just shut the deadline. Hopefully they will shut the deadline on the first kickoff, and so you won't even have the opportunity. But they might not. They are FIFA. They do kind of a bit lax sometimes. So, and with these kickoffs opening later, maybe there's this little window where the game locks, but then the actual kickoff lock is like later. I don't know. There could be some game mechanics there where you've got a window. But you don't know exactly what's going to happen next time. Maybe they will dock you the transfers, so you could try it and bring your players in. Make your transfers that you want for match day 2. Do it in that little window. So you do all your transfers for match day 3. So you do all your transfers for match day 2 like normal, and then in that little window you do a load of. You could do a wildcard. You could do an entire wildcard for match day 3. I mean, I suppose I could exploit it if I really wanted to, and just save my wildcard for the knockouts or something by just doing this. Just go. No, would that work? No. You'd have to use a wildcard match day 2. And then you could have an extra full wildcard for match day 3, because you just do a load of transfers in that little window, and theoretically you get them all for free. If this occurred, it's just a big if. You might find yourself suddenly with a massive points hit, and you get all your points are docked. So I don't know. There might be some people out there that have got some transfer that are like, they're happy to pay the hit for it if they have to anyway, if they're going to wildcard match day 2. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting. You might be able to exploit it. I'm not going to try it. But it's interesting. Anyway, so that's that. Whether I'll talk about in a minute. So that was that. And then, I was going to say, but the more goals, another confirmation we had was, I'm going to have to pause it. One sec. Another confirmation we had was that there have been more goals and less clean sheets. So that prediction so far is happening. So 3.1 goals per game is the highest since 2006. Before, that's all as far back as I've got the data for. He had a 3.06 at Brazil in the first round. So that's the highest first round goals per game. And the clean sheets are on 18%, which is like super low. Like the knockout tournaments always seem to be a bit more clean sheets than you get in the Premier League average. But these are lower than even the Premier League average. So that's the lowest of the lot. So yeah, hardly any clean sheets at all. So when you're picking players, again, just try and pick players who are goal scoring, particularly defenders. Goal scoring defenders don't really focus on clean sheets so much, maybe. Yeah. So that was another confirmation. Then there was this. So that's that. The vice captain problem. That was a little interesting peculiarity. So a couple of people have been mentioning it on Twitter. You got this vice captain, and you can't captain your vice captain. Says I can there. Oh no, that's round 1. Round 2. You can't captain your vice captain. So if you had a team of 15 players, 15 different teams, you can't get 15 different captains, because one of them will have to be your vice captain, and you can't captain your vice captain. So you can keep moving that vice captain around, but eventually, once you've used all your players, you're not going to be able to get your captain onto the vice captain, because so in the game you need to your vice captain needs to get scored. I mean, like, it might seem like a small thing, because most of the time we're not going to get to that point where we're going to care. because you're probably going to get a captain haul at some point where you stick. You're not going to need to get to the very last one. But I should just say, in Club World Cup, there was a round where people did end up on a captain blank, even with the stick or twist thing. It did definitely happen, maybe more than once, because that impulse to kind of keep twisting, keep gambling, and there's a kind of like, as you get to the last few, if you've had like a 10, 11, 12 earlier on in the game in the match day, and then you're getting to the end and you're getting like a 6 and a 7, it feels like you don't want to stick on that now. It feels like it's a loss. So people keep pushing to try and get that 10, that 12 pointer, and people did end up on blanks with the captains because they pushed it too hard. So we might need to come to the final captain, and the vice captain will get in the way a bit. So there's a few kind of options you can do. I mean, usually what we'll do is we'll have several people from the same team. So with Germany, I was able to kind of vice captain Wirtz. He got a 5-pointer, because you want to vice captain somebody that you're going to leave in your team is kind of the goal. So I did have Wirtz, but at that point, I only had 2 other blanks. I didn't have a Yazabal at that point, and I was looking at my team and thinking, well, Wirtz is my 3rd lowest scorer at the moment. It's not a guarantee that I won't want to sub him out. So I should probably go for a better score than 5, because he might be my lowest scorer, because I had all these other players coming in. Didn't turn out that way. But I switched it to Kukurea. And that one was okay. What do I want to say about this? So there's a couple of solutions. There was a user called FPL Abby who mentioned like a goalkeeper solution. One way is just vice your goalkeepers, because your goalies are probably not going to get... They've got a bit of a limited ceiling. And if you're not really bothered about captaining them, just vice them. And then, because you've got to play one of them, their ceiling is probably about 9 or 10 points. You could do that. That's one way to solve it. But the problem with that is I kind of feel like I don't mind a 9 or 10 pointer. Especially towards the end, if I'm running out of captaincy choices, I might take a 9 or 10 pointer. And I don't really want to lose a captaincy chance. So, I could possibly do that. And another solution I've noticed with my own team is if you've got 2 players from the final game, then you can just, so if I have Diaz, I can just vice Vargas, or if I had like Jimenez or Mexica, Rodriguez, James Rodriguez, I could just vice him or Mexica, and then captain Diaz. And then that's one way that you'll always be safe. That will never be a problem then in the final game. And then there's another solution I had, which was you could, if you always have 2 players from the goalkeeper team. So I've got Nyland and Haaland and Vargas and Diaz. I'm never going to be captaining the keepers over Diaz and Haaland. So they're going to be the captains, which means in both of those games, I can just vice Nyland, vice Vargas, and my vice is kind of doing the goalkeeper thing, but I'm doing it in a way that it doesn't bother me because I've kind of picked them and I've got players I want to captain instead. So that's one way to solve it as well. But next game week, I'm probably going to sell Haaland for Mbappe, so I won't be able to do that. So I think next game week, I'm just going to chance it. It's really just like a weird peculiarity, this vice captain thing that's like, that's probably not going to be a problem most of the time, but it might be. If you get down to your last few captains, you might find yourself stuck if you're not careful and you haven't got rid of that vice captain spot. You might find yourself stuck and you can't actually captain somebody. So yeah, I've just been trying to kind of get rid of it. Try and put my vice captain on somebody that gets me a good score that I can just leave in my team. So Kukurea is good. He's stuck down. I've got 3 players who have, well, I've got 5 players who have scored less than him. So that's good. Now he's locked. Yeah, that was just an interesting peculiarity. A couple of weird solutions for that, but something to look out for. Couple of other things. When you confirm your captain, make sure you confirm it twice. So you move your captain. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to move off Haaland, but you move your captain, confirm it, and then there's another button that comes down the bottom saying confirm team. So you got to press it twice. You could catch a few people out that. Another thing is the formation limits in this game are you have to play 3 in midfield. So it's not like FPL where you can actually play 2 in midfield. You can play 5, 2, 3. You actually have a limit. You've got to play at least 3 defenders, at least 3 midfielders. It might just be 1 forward. I think you'll play 2 forwards actually. Where's the formation? No, you can play 1 forward, but it's at least 3 defenders and at least 3 midfielders. I don't think there's much we can do about that strategically. It's just something in the game. But you might find yourself in a situation where you have to bench a Hall because if you haven't got at least 3 returns in your midfielders, which I'm currently looking at this situation at the moment, but if you haven't got at least 3 returns in your midfielders or 3 returns in your defence, you might have to leave somebody on your bench. I'm still sleep deprived. My brain's not working, but that could become a problem for me. Ordóñez I can sell. I can bench. Oyarzabal I can bench, and then I can just bench Sabitzer. So yeah, that's fine. At the moment I'm fine because Asana I'm going to have to play anyway. So that's the way I did it. But I don't know if I tried to do Sabitzer, Sane, and Ordóñez for these 2. No, I don't think it's a problem for me. I don't think so. But it might be a problem for some. Yep. Let me talk about one more thing because my brain is slowing. One more thing I just thought was interesting is the bracket and 3rd place qualification. So one thing I was interested in is this isn't necessarily FPL related, fantasy related. It's just more kind of a curiosity of mine. But I was wondering, how does it work? So if you finish as the best 3rd place team, who do you get drawn against? Do you play like the worst 1st place team? Does it matter? And apparently it doesn't matter at all. So the top 8 3rd place teams are just put in a bucket. Doesn't matter if you're the best or the worst. You just got to be in that top 8, and then you're all the same. There's no difference. Same with the first place teams of all the groups. And the way it works is you've actually got, there are all different permutations of 8 groups. So you've got like if I go down to the bottom here, one permutation is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if all of the top 8 3rd place teams come from those groups, that's one permutation. And if it happens to be that, this is the way that they will get. They're the groups that they're the 1st place teams that they'll have to play. That's the permutation. And then this is another permutation: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then instead of H, it'll be I. Another, and there's basically 495 permutations from where these top 8 3rd place teams could come from, and FIFA have just already pre-figured out who they're going to play, the 1st place teams that they'll play, and supposedly it's based on trying to keep teams who have played each other in the groups from playing each other in the too far in the knockouts. You want to try and get them to play each other in like the semis and the finals rather than round of 16, round of 32. And it's also something to do with the travel, I think, and teams, they're trying to keep their climate footprint down, so they want to kind of keep all the games in the same, if people are playing in Mexico, keep them around there so they don't have to travel too much as well. Something to do with that, but they've already preordained and worked it all out. And then so there's some interesting things you can figure out about that, because for the 3rd place teams, you got different perspectives from the 3rd place team. So if you're in Group L or Group K, and you are in the top 8 3rd place teams, you will definitely play. If 3rd place in Group K will definitely play the 1st place in Group L, and 3rd place in Group L will definitely play Group K, because of all the permutations where L is here, they always end up with K, like it's just 100% of the time. Whereas there's a whole bunch of permutations where most of them, you go through and so if you're 3rd in Group J and you finish in the top 8 of 3rd place teams, then these are all these different permutations, 495, 58% of them you'll end up playing Group B. So 58% of the permutations where J is in the top 8 third place teams, but there could be all kinds of other groups from all the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, all the other groups. 58% of them you're going to end up playing the first place in Group B. So there's, so for instance, if you're third in Group B, you're almost certainly going to play the first place in Group D. Just by the law of averages of where these third place teams come from, almost 99.7% of these permutations will put you against first place in Group B, Group D. So third place, if I go from the third place perspective, third place in Group B, which is at the moment projected to be Bosnia and Herzegovina, they're probably going to play USA. So I've been kind of getting into the odds of it all. I don't know whether it really helps much. I was just curious about the numbers. I've also started having a amateur effort at trying to predict like the odds, updating the odds of like each team's chance of finishing first, second, third and fourth as well, so we can kind of get a sense of who's going to play who, just so that could a team be motivated to want to avoid another team, like Spain and Uruguay over here. Top two over here will definitely play the top two in J, which is Argentina and Algeria. So Argentina and Spain, if one of them slip up, they might have to play the other in round of 32. So that could be something they'll be wary of. Spain already slipping up a bit. Argentina getting a win. I think Spain want to make sure they top that group, because they'll be thinking Argentina are going to top it as well, top theirs. Yeah, so these are all the odds though. So yeah, that's very high odds. If you're third from Group A, you're almost certainly going to be playing Belgium. That's if Czechia, the third place from Group A, is one of the top 8. You can look at this from the first place team's perspective as well though, because you don't know that the third place from Group A will actually be in the top 8. So from Belgium's point of view, they will still probably play this group. That is, I guess, again, permutation. That's not. Yeah, I think that's just a permutation thing. So they'll probably play Group A, because most permutations put them there. But then, if they don't, if the third place from Group A isn't in the top 8, then it could be some of the other teams. Cape Verde is the next most likely, or Saudi Arabia, one of those two. So I don't know, is there anything interesting to say about all of this? Probably not. Probably not. Nah, I think my brain's slowing down. I'll motivations and stuff, I don't know, I was just playing around with this. I'll leave the spreadsheet in the description so people can have a look at it. Yeah, my brain's shutting down, so I'm gonna stop talking. Okay, that's me for today though. Yep, that's my plans. Probably gonna take a few hits, 12-man Kane maybe. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Thanks for listening. See you later. Bye bye.